Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you so much for joining our webinar today from Paper Power Player. My name is Amanda, and I will be your moderator. I'm joined by Laura Nichols and Rachel Marchfield from here at benefitexpress, as well as our friend Anne Burkett from USI. I know that this is going to be a topic that you'll have a lot of questions about, but to keep background noise to a minimum, I'm going to keep the webinar muted today. If you have any questions, we have a question box below. Please type your questions, and we will have a section to answer them at the end. Before I hand it off to Lauren to start our webinar, we just had a quick little poll for you guys because we like to get a handle on where our audience is at. So today we just want to know what your enrollment experience is currently like. Do you currently enroll on paper? Do you have an older system so that you may as well be enrolling on paper? Are you on a homegrown system that maybe you started when you were a much smaller company that now needs some reorganization? Or are you a broker or advisor who's here on behalf of your clients? So I'll give everybody just a minute to answer. Right now it's looking like we have about half of folks here currently enroll on paper. We have a couple of folks who are here on their own homegrown system, and they're really, now that they're growing as a company, have time for an upgrade. And about 40% of you here are brokers and advisors. The good news is we have solutions for everybody here. And with that, I'm gonna hand it off to Lauren.
Hi, everyone. Good afternoon. My name is Laura Nichols. I am a client delivery manager here at benefitexpress, and I've been here for about 4 years. I have done several implementations. A couple of them have come from paper onto our My benefitexpress platform. So for today, I'd like to give you just a little bit of background on a particular case that I worked on about 1.5 years ago. A hospital system out in South Dakota with about 16,000 employees. So they came to benefitexpress looking for a solution to standardize and automate some processes that they had internally, in addition to seeking out for an online enrollment and eligibility platform. So for some background on the client, they actually have about 11 different facilities that are all affiliated by the mother company. And all of the facilities were treated differently. So their eligibility rules, their benefits, they were all different, and they were looking for some consulting from benefitexpress as well as some solutions on how to standardize. So a couple topics that I'd like to cover just a little bit on this particular case study. One of the things we were really able to offer some solutions to were some issues surrounding onboarding and communications. For those of you working off of paper, I'm sure you're all aware, communication can be difficult when you're working with paper. So we were able to offer some solutions through our online system, and our particular module we like to refer to as our communication module, which has some capabilities surrounding ad hoc email blasts that we like to use at any point in the year when our clients are looking to reach out to particular populations, as well as some other processes such as new hire emails. Which really assisted this particular client in getting the message out, supplying the participants with the login information, some preemptive information about enrolling, et cetera. And they have actually seen a significant increase in the number of, or the participation in their plans since they have moved on to the My benefitexpress platform. Onboarding. In the past, this particular benefits team would set up one-on-one meetings with their associates to go through all the benefit offerings, eligibility, questions, et cetera. And this, moving to My benefitexpress, they saw a dramatic decrease in the number of one-on-one meetings that were needed now that everything was more of a comprehensive, fully automated approach to enrollment and eligibility. Data and change management. So a few things we do throughout the year here, we really work hard to maintain data and ensure that we're applying administrative rules correctly. A good example of that is if you have some particular rules surrounding parent plans where you must be enrolled in one plan to be eligible for a second plan. These are things that we're managing all year on a weekly basis. So we're consistently cleaning data, we're keeping you in the know on the things we're finding so that we can identify trends and things that we need to maybe work with clients to keep clean and work on improving. Question. Another nice data and change management approach or a solution we have is what we call our quick add, where we can allow the HR users to add associates to our system preemptively of when they're actually hired, so that they can go in, maybe preemptively enroll in their benefits, get their ID cards in hand before they actually start. So that has been something that this particular client team has found really useful to give, you know, a better experience to those pre-new hires. And then another topic, EDI management, so the eligibility with the carriers. On the My Benefit Express platform, we have the ability to do this automatically, which will lower the risk of things that are getting keyed in manually, where issues can arise where things are not keyed in correctly. We as a company also, if we do the full administration, we'll work with the carriers on discrepancies and things of that nature to keep everything clean to limit the amount of involvement from the HR team at the client. And wanted to point out here at Benefit Express, we don't really have a threshold for the number of participants that have to be enrolled in a plan for us to use EDI electronic eligibility files. However, sometimes carriers have some limits as to how many participants have to be enrolled in order to use an electronic EDI file. And then last point I wanted to make, the implementation coming from paper onto our platform is very similar than if you are already on a platform moving to Benefit Express. The big difference is really the source of data. In an instance where you're coming from paper, we may need to just kind of loop in the carriers to get your data rather than working with a prior TPA or if you have a homegrown system. But the implementation process itself is very similar. There isn't anything really additional required if you're coming from paper onto Benefit Express comparing to if you're coming from a separate system.
Thank you so much, Lauren. So if you guys have any questions for Lauren about what it's like to work with a project manager at Benefit Express, moving from a paper system to online enrollment, please leave your questions in the box below. Again, we'll be going over those at the end, but for now, I'm going to hand it off to Anne.
Hi there, everybody. I am the National Practice Leader of HR Technology here at USI Insurance Services, and happy to talk to you all a little bit about things to consider as you are looking to move to a benefits administration platform. So, you know, one of the key things that I would say is first and primary is to go talk to your primary users or administrators. You know, so if you're on paper, you don't necessarily have users on a system, but who are going to be those key components, key people to the process. And you need to identify where the current challenges are, what can be automated, what, you know, is there anything that cannot be automated? Those are all things to start digging out from the very beginning so you can set proper expectations. And you want to be sure that you're hitting the items that are going to give you the biggest bang for your buck first. That's where you're going to have a lot more excitement about the solution, and it's really going to carry through because implementation isn't always the easiest thing to go through. And then it's the little things, the evidence of insurability, the, you know, how can you remind employees that, hey, open enrollment's closing, you better get in there and get it done. So there's alerts and things like that. So those are going to be the little things, but you know, you've got to look at all sides of the equation, the big things and the little things. And then I would say, you can hop to the next slide if you want. It's a little hard to know what you don't know. You know, it's that whole you don't know what you don't know. So lean on any experts that you can get your hands on. And I would say the technology providers or vendors that you're talking with, they can answer the technology side of the questions, and your broker can answer questions related to, to the benefits themselves. And often those two, primary strategic partners of yours can work together to be sure that the whole picture is looked at, holistically, because you don't want anything to fall through the cracks or get into an implementation and realize that you've got a benefit plan that maybe is a little bit challenging. And so the more you can hash all those things out up front, the better off you are. Your broker is going to have all of your plan designs and all of that. So it's real easy to think that all the plans are alike. A lot of them are, but there's still some that have some little nuances that you want to be sure all of those details get captured within the technology. Otherwise, you could have a little bumps in the road, is what I'll call that. Maybe someone, the benefit doesn't come over the way that it should, or it doesn't allow them to elect the amount that they should be able to, and little things like that don't seem like a big deal up front, but when you're in the middle of it with an employee, it's extremely frustrating. And so you want to be sure you head off any of those kind of challenges before they even have a chance to arise. And then getting into the data going over to the carriers. That's often, I'd say, the biggest administrative burden that you have with paper enrollment. It's getting that information over to the carriers. And often it's a hand-king situation with multiple carriers, and you've got to get when an address changes, when somebody gets married, when they have a baby, all of those kind of things. And so those things can all be automated when you go to an electronic system. And you want to be sure, as you're getting prepped for the build out, the implementation, that you're aware of how long those files are going to take to build. So if there's any gap in time, that there's a plan of action as to, okay, who's going to get that data to the carriers so that nothing falls through the cracks until those files are going automatically. And that's, little bitty things that all start to add up. But when you've got a good partner, you can tackle them really easy and have a good game plan. So, the next item that I would say is pretty darn important is, having, obviously you've got to have that game plan, but you've got to understand what's your time frame here. So how long is it going to take to get all of that data built into the system and ready? And, so if it is, we're under the gun for open enrollment, be sure you've got plenty of time, because there does need to be time to test and validate all of the information. And you want to be sure that that's built into your timeline. And every broker, every carrier, every technology has their own little caveats that come into play during implementation. So are you changing benefit plans? And that needs to be considered. And be, because you've got to have the contracts and all the data on the current current and new potentially. And so again, it's a lot of coordination, but you want to be sure that you've got a very solid, and I would say padded timeline to give time to validate and test all the data. And this was touched on a little bit earlier, but don't underestimate the change in management and processes that may need to occur. So obviously, going from paper to an electronic system, you hope that you've got pretty much everything automated, but there may still be some things that need to be managed. And then there's just the change management of it all, and having a totally new process of employees, instead of walking down the hall and handing a piece of paper in, they're going to have to go online and enroll electronically. And being sure that you give yourselves time to explain that to employees, and potentially their families, and all of the communication that needs to go with that. Because ideally you want them super excited and see this as a positive, because ultimately it will be. And, I kind of mentioned open enrollment. I say best practice is implement a new process and technology off of open enrollment. That's usually the best policy. I know sometimes it just can't always work out that way. But when you start thinking about having all of your employees go into a system for the very first time, when you've got a lot of changes happening with, maybe it's, new benefit plans and things like that, it can be really stressful for everybody. And so best practice would be to implement off of an enrollment cycle, have your new hires and your changes, your, marriages and babies and all of that, have those events take place in the new system. And then by the time you get to your open enrollment, from an administrative perspective, you've got some experience and some training now with the system. And then those employees that they used earlier in the year, they're more comfortable, and so they're talking to their buddy next door saying, hey, that was super easy and that sort of thing. But you'll tend to have less issues if either you pad your timing for open enrollment, you give yourself some extra time just to get in there and get used to the system and whatnot. But best practice would be to do that off of open enrollment. So hopefully those are just some helpful tips from the broker side of it, but also I've grew up in HR, and so I've kind of been there, done that a few times as a client, and hope that those are words of wisdom that you all can do something with.
All right, Anne, thank you so much. Again, if you have any questions for Anne about working with a partner on an open enrollment, please leave them below, and we'll have a section for questions at the end. But for now, we're going to turn it over to Rachel Marchfield, our Director of Client Services.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Rachel Marchfield. I am the Director of Client Services here at benefitexpress, and I've been with the company for 6 years, actually, this past July. A lot of exciting things are going on here at benefitexpress, and one of the things we'd like to talk to you about today is kind of our implementation process here for our various platforms. We have a few different delivery models that we offer through the benefitexpress umbrella, and really the implementation process is the same across all of our platforms. And to Lauren's point earlier, it doesn't really necessarily matter if the client is coming from paper or an existing online technology platform. During our implementation process, we still consider the same information across our clients, because what we're trying to do in any of these cases is meet our clients' needs, which is always, when they come to us, benefit administration, employee engagement, enrollment decision support, and other tools that are coming out in this day and age as people start moving from paper to internet technology and now mobile device usage. So a few things that I'd like to just go through in regards to benefitexpress specifically are a few things about our product and not necessarily just the implementation process. benefitexpress as a company offers a full suite of outsourcing options across all of our delivery models, and clients can implement several of those services at once or kind of as a piecemeal option as their plan designs and benefit strategies change within their own corporation or company. benefitexpress, no matter what, consults with our clients during the initial contracting and implementation phases to ensure that we're addressing our clients' pain points and identifying any automation opportunities and additional services that may fit into the client's benefit strategy. So to Anne's point, you really should lean on the experts. You should lean on your broker to present all of the current opportunities and the current pain points that are out there for your administrative processes. And you should lean on us as the carrier, the vendor, and administrator to consult on what we have available to address those needs, especially where we're trying to look for things like enhanced data security and protection, processing efficiencies, and reduction in errors. One thing that you may or may not know about benefitexpress is that we do offer enhanced data protection and security. We maintain everything in a single system and database, and it is protected by high trust and other security certifications that are well known within the industry. And with regards to the processing efficiencies and reduction in errors, We here at Benefit Express have worked with very intelligent people from a development and programming standpoint, and our technology was built as an administrative technology, not as an add-on to other processes or other technology like some ERP systems may offer. The Benefit Express platforms were set up to administer benefit strategies, including things like automating dependent age outs monthly, automating those things like changing age bands or reductions in life insurance policies, and also from the back end, including things like automated new hire notifications or COBRA offers and termination reporting. This in turn helps our clients cut down on the HR work effort and time requirements through enhanced data management, ongoing reporting, automation, and employee self-service, which, as we all know, the more we cut down on HR work effort, the more capacity they have. And because of time saved, we're resulting in money saved. I know one thing that maybe scares some clients about looking for technology is the cost associated with it versus staying with paper and administering it manually. But I don't know that everyone always considers that the turnaround view of that is the fact that you're paying somebody's salaries to maintain this information all the time, and somebody to keep an eye on all of these ongoing changes and transactions that have to happen behind the scenes. If Benefit Express becomes your full outsource partner, we take care of all of those administrative responsibilities on your behalf as part of our ongoing outsourcing platforms. MBE, our full outsourcing platform, also known as My Benefit Express, and our BC Enroll and BC Edge platforms allow us to administer complex eligibility rules and roles-based security through our automated processing. This means that if you have complex eligibility where certain groups are eligible for some things that others are not, if you have various waiting periods, various rate options, and other benefit strategies that you have going on, such as tobacco cessation or spousal surcharges, we're able to administer all of those complexities within a single system on your behalf, allows you to collect the information and report on it. Any questions so far? We also offer, and I think Lauren also touched on this, enhanced communication options through our portals. It allows our clients to program targeted messages based on the population, certain population criteria. They can use this throughout the year. We find that a lot of our clients love using it during the annual enrollment period to announce the upcoming enrollment, remind employees that it's open or that it's coming up to the closure, and also to announce any exceptions or appeals processes and other changes that are going on in the organization throughout the year that have nothing to do with the enrollment flow. We can also program automated communications based on those transactions that I mentioned previously, such as dependent age outs, changes in premiums due to changes in status or salary and things of that nature. So the employee knows that there's something that may be coming down the pipe in their paycheck or changes that may be reflected in other areas of their ongoing day-to-day work as an employee. Benefit Express also takes the first shot at completing our requirements documentation on our client's behalf. I find that that's a little bit unique in our industry, that we request all of your documentation on your plan designs today, including things like SPDs, SPCs, enrollment guides, and other communications you use with your employees, to help us learn how you communicate with them, to make sure that our targeted messages and the format of our website is designed specifically for your employee population, and that we are presenting them with information that's important to them on an as-needed basis. We really work to be an extension of our clients, and we try not to differentiate between the client and Benefit Express. We really want to be that partner and want to be an extension of their administrative services. At the same time, while we're helping with change management and employee communication, on the back end of that, we're actually auditing all the data and the processes that are going through. So we consult with our clients on their current processes, what they look like today and what they should look like on our platform. But in order for those processes to work, we need to make sure that all the data coming in is clean. Anne mentioned this at one point, but garbage in, garbage out, right? So one of our main things during an implementation here at Benefit Express is we help our clients audit that information no matter what the source was. No matter where it came from, we're going to help you identify gaps in employee data, gaps in eligibility management, and also discrepancies that relate to the coverage that may already be with the carriers today. This has, in recent history, also helped a number of our clients clean things up on the carrier side, which resulted in a lot of savings during the premium and invoice reconciliation period as well. On the back end of that, I should just say that benefitexpress does work directly with our carriers and vendors on eligibility and file processing requirements. We take over that job on behalf of our clients. We invite them to all of our implementation and ongoing status meetings with the carriers, but really we hold ourselves accountable for that ongoing process from start to finish. We send the data to the carrier, we receive and act on those discrepancy reports, and we also offer a monthly premium reconciliation service to our clients as an add-on service. Thank you. So a couple of things that I'd like to point out that are specific to the implementation process itself and not just our platform overall and what benefits it gives you. Some things that benefitexpress really focuses on are helping the clients with their change management. We start that off by having one key representative and one team from implementation to ongoing active administration. We try not to separate those two from each other because of the knowledge transfer, and the amount of information that's provided to our team during an implementation is so full, and those relationships are built from the beginning that we pride ourselves and we take that really to heart and want to keep building those relationships with our client contacts as they continue to grow and change their strategies. We want continuous background team members for them here as a support system in the benefitexpress team. We actively manage the ongoing or the implementation and ongoing services. And what I mean by that is we have standard conversion methodology, we have standard data audits that we provide, we do initial data review and resolutions, we have experience across many vendors, both from an HRIS and payroll perspective, as well as the back-end insurance carrier relationships. And our expertise is pretty broad across all of the different services that are offered within benefitexpress, including FSA, COBRA, and other shared services that people may not always think about. We have a strong internal governance process here at benefitexpress. We hold weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly meetings with our clients to review ongoing status, but we also have various workshops that are specialized and focused on different areas of the implementation process, different modules that may be used, going through your eligibility and your data management. And what we do is we manage that from the beginning, make sure that the appropriate parties are aware of what meetings we plan to hold, and coordinate scheduling from there to ensure we have the right people on the phone at the right times. And we always recommend having some form of in-person meeting during the implementation process to help build that rapport, give that team the opportunity for that face-to-face conversation, and having a natural born relationship between benefitexpress and our clients. We are, as I stated before, accountable for requirements, gathering, and definitions. We do take the first stab at filling that documentation out rather than handing it off to our clients for them to review and complete. We hold regular meetings to ensure that any changes that need to occur to our ongoing processing are made timely and that all parties are made aware. All key stakeholders are kept involved and informed in that process. With those workshops, we try to make sure that we are effectively using our clients' time, making sure that we're not all requesting certain people from the client's HR or administrative team to be present at meetings where they may not have any topics or involvement in. We try to be very cognizant of that. And while we're doing that, we still want to be transparent to what's going on here. So we're always openly communicating with our clients, their vendors, and other key stakeholders like brokers or consultants during the implementation process. Any information you provide us should be able to be provided back to our clients. So reporting, transparency to statuses and things of that nature are very important to us. And really overall, the biggest thing that we want to make sure is that our system and our team is being flexible, and that we are able to accommodate all of the administrative complexities that our clients come to us with.
I said, we really do try to be a consultant in that perspective. The word no is really not in our vocabulary here. We may not believe that what a current process is the best way to do it, but we'll give alternatives. And other times we may turn around and say that the process you have today is the best way, but let's see what else we can do to enhance it. It's really just having a realistic point of view and being real with our clients about what is and isn't best practice for us here at the company and what we believe will really achieve the client's benefit strategy in the end. I believe the next few slides are actually a presentation of our new platform or our new user interface. So before I jump into explaining that, I just want to make sure, are there any questions that may have come in?
We had one really great question from Al, which is what does SaaS supporting really mean? So we're a SaaS company. So what support comes behind that?
Sure. So SaaS, software as a service. Although benefitexpress is a company that is we are based in we're a technology company that has a basis in benefit administration. But benefitexpress, I don't know if anyone is aware of this, but our tagline is benefit-wise, relationship-driven. And although we offer technology to our clients, that's not really what we're trying to portray or give to our clients. What we're giving to our clients when they come to us as a partner is our service, is our consulting, is our time, and our back and forth with identifying what are your pain points, what are your needs, and what can we do to help you get there and achieve your goals. We don't want to just offer you a technology platform and run away. We are a service administration and a service organization. We focus on building those relationships with our clients and maintaining those throughout the year. If I don't hear from a client for a month, that's a problem for me. And as the director of client services, it's important that my team maintains that ongoing dialogue with their clients. That's my interpretation of a SaaS platform from a benefitexpress standpoint. I'm not sure if that particularly answers that person's question, but.
And that's all we have for right now. Again, we have a question box below where you can type any questions you may have, but for now, I think Rachel is going to go into our new system.
Yes. So just a caveat for everyone that's on this phone call that may not be as intimately involved in benefitexpress's day-to-day work, or if you haven't been able to visit our corporate website in a while, you may have seen some recent releases that we're going through kind of an overall of our end user website. So the back end of our website was built by benefit-wise employees, extremely intelligent about benefit administration rules, criteria, and logic that needed to go into the system in order to administer complex benefit plan designs. But we wanted to also not be able to just administer complex plan designs, but present that information in a digestible format, not for the employee and the HR users. So this first page that you're looking at right now is a new view of the user interface from the employee's perspective. The information we're presenting is no different than what it looks like today, but we're portraying it in a different view. We kind of changed a few things around. You'll see on the left-hand side, there's navigational menu options instead of across the top. We have logos, icons, pictures, and easy view items, because what we're trying to do is make sure that it's not only a functional website, but there's easy navigation, ease of configuration, and ease of administrative use. When we put this new face on it, we were trying to consider other websites and other platforms that are out there today that are constantly enhancing themselves. And we also knew that we needed to consider mobile users. So our new user interface is also mobile responsive, which means that no matter what platform or technology the employee may be viewing this page on, it's going to shrink and fit itself onto the page where the employee can view it without having to zoom in, zoom out, scroll over, scroll left and right, and things of that nature. We all know that's slightly annoying, especially when you get certain things like big email attachments. The website design itself was built to present the information to the employee no matter what device they're on. And it's also just meant to be easy navigation. When they come to this website, they have a specific question or they have a specific action they need to take, like completing their annual enrollment. And we wanted to make this website easier for the employee to find exactly what they needed when they wanted it and when they logged in. There's one page in particular called the My Plans page. I think it's the next slide. The My Plans page was actually created to be the hub of the employee specific information. So if the employee wanted to know or had questions about what they're currently eligible for, currently enrolled in, or have available to make changes, they would be able to go to this My Plans page. This presents them with the opportunity to view details on the plans they're enrolled in, including SBC information or highlights such as copays, deductibles, and out-of-pocket maximums. It gives them contact information for the carrier. And in the case of something like a health savings account plan that can be changed at any time, it presents the employee with the opportunity to make that enrollment or election change right away without any administrative intervention. It also provides them a summed total up at the top so they have an understanding of their particular per pay deductions. On our website, this is dynamic, so if the employee happens to be paid weekly, this would be weekly. If they were paid bi-weekly or bi-monthly or monthly, that would dynamically change the number based on that individual's payroll schedule. So for me, this happens to be, I would say, the hub of the employee information. Without being able to show you the dynamic change, this will also display on this individual page all historical election information as well. So whenever the employee has had any enrollment effective dates available to them, the history of what they enrolled in for that specific effective date would be available here. And we've just found that employees find this extremely useful, very accessible, especially from a mobile app design. When they go to their doctor's office and they have questions about prescriptions or coverages, they can access their plan details directly from this page so they understand what will and won't be covered at any given time. Really, in the end, though, I'll stay with the My Plans page and the new interface. Providing targeted messages, helping employees be engaged in their benefits, making educated decisions as a consumer in the benefit administration industry. We just are looking to make happy employees. Happy and informed employees usually means a happy HR, and a happy HR normally means happy clients for us here at benefitexpress.
Great. Thank you, everybody, so much for joining us. Again, if you have any questions, we'll remain on the line for a few more minutes. But if you are ready to see our system a little bit more in depth, or if you have any other questions, please reach out to sales@mybenefitexpress.com, and we look forward to speaking with you. Have a great day, guys. Thank you so much.